Engine 1 from Car 1. Car 1's on scene at Subin Command. Give me a C.A.N report.
Hello, everybody. This is Mike Goldstein, Stickers of the C.A.N Report. Thank you for tuning in. I have a great guest today, Joe Johnson from the great state of Texas. He is a wealth of knowledge and loves to get his hands dirty, and I'm excited to get dirty with him tonight. Joe Johnson he's energetic, and I'm excited to have him tonight. Joe, I'm going to breeze into your bio real quick here. First of all, thank you for being on the show. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks for having me, man. It's an honor. I'm so busy.
Absolutely. So Joe Johnson the second, he's married to Amy. He's got Gavin, Bailey, and Tanner for his children. He's 18 years in the service, 13 years volunteering, 10 years on the paid side. He's lieutenant for Porter Fire Department. He's a senior instructor at Lone Star Kingwood campus. And that is it for Joe. Joe is he's wicked humble. So he'll tell you all the time he's just some regular dude from Texas. But man, I met you down in Georgia, and you're anything but just some dude, man. You do a lot of great stuff. So thank you for being on here. Anybody who's listening, thank you for joining us. Make sure you do click the subscribe button on Spotify, YouTube, or Apple. It helps a lot, lets me know who's listening, and it keeps the show going. Joe Johnson, welcome, my friend.
Hey, man, thanks, man. I keep looking this way. I'm looking at my oldest. He's actually here. I think did you get it working? Can you hear it now? Yeah, so he wanted to listen in, man. He's probably had more fire experience than most of these kids walking around in fire service today, man. He caught his first fire at 6 months old, man, riding officer in the tanker one day. It was a bad decision on my part, but when you're a volunteer, you're a volunteer, you know. But yeah, no, I mean, there's not much.
How old is he?
He's 14. He's right here. Come on, say hi, Gavin. Come on. Oh, he's being shy now. He wanted to be part of it. Now he don't want to do nothing. Yeah, he's 14, man. It's one of my three pride and joys. He's my twin. That's why I wish he would come look in the computer. But anybody that knows him, here he comes down. I got him with that one. So he is my twin. Not the hair, but you can see him. You got to step over in the camera, son. Oh, sorry. Look, that's my twin. So that's my firstborn.
What's up, my friend? How you doing?
He said, hey. So that's my firstborn, man. My middle child, Bailey, she's with her mom this weekend. And my youngest, Tanner, he's with his dad. He's my stepson, but he's my son, if anybody knows what I'm talking about. But man, there is nothing much to me, man. I mean, like I said, you know, in that bio, 18 years in fire service, but I'm still very much an amateur. I have so much to learn, man. That's why I love teaching at the college for Lone Star. I've been doing that for like 7 years now, and it's just watching these kids come in these days, man. We have to adapt ourselves to how we're teaching these kids now, and I've had to learn that the hard way. But no, there's not too much to me, man. I just like getting my hands dirty. I mean, I got to work with you besides you and Rondo, man. I loved it. It was such a blast out there in Georgia, such a humbling, God-filled experience. And what I was going to ask you, man, before we get too deep in this, you mind if I open up with a prayer before we get going?
You do it, brother.
All right, man, here we go. Father God, thank you for tonight, Lord. Thank you for this experience you have blessed upon me with Goldstein and all his listeners, Father God. I pray tonight will be an avenue for you to shine through me. Father God, you've been working on me since I've left Bearers of the Oath, with my family, with my work, with my life. Father, let it be a light tonight. Father, I ask for you to forgive us for our sins and forgive anybody that has sinned against us, Lord. Let our words and our values and our character shine through your sons, Jesus Christ. In his holy name that we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Joe.
Oh, you're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Now that was probably the biggest thing I took from Bears right there is Jesus Christ getting back in my life, man. And it's been a struggle every day, but Bentley and Pfluger, Sturm, Hollick, man, all them brothers out there that were with us. I mean, you and I have had some personal conversations since we've left.
Yeah, but
and you talk about, man, I can't wait to go back to Bears of the Oath. Talk about a once in a lifetime experience.
Yeah, you know, and it's really cool that actually you did the prayer, man. I appreciate that. You know, like I said at Bears, I'm Jewish, you know, but we're all human. We all believe in different faiths. We all believe in different gods. And that was what was so cool about Bears of the Oath. I didn't feel like an outsider. One, I'm from the North, you know, being from New Hampshire and coming down to Georgia. That's different altogether. And then the faith part of it, that was really different for me. We're not like that up here. Not that we don't believe in religion, but we're not heavily based in faith. Right. So having that experience was eye-opening, but it was rejuvenating, and it made me feel things I normally wouldn't feel at conferences. It opened up my heart, opened up my mind. Still a bunch of hard chargers that believe in the Lord. And for anybody that's listening or watching, they know me. Like, I'm not super religious, but I do believe there is a God, and I do believe God has a purpose for all of us in life. If what we talk about bothers you, you have the option to not listen. You can definitely turn it off. I'm not asking anybody to turn this off, but I do believe faith in God has a big part in the fire service. And when we have line of duty deaths, right, like we have our funerals, and God plays a big part. We're praying for the families. We're praying for anybody involved in some kind of tragic event. So it does go hand in hand. We pray every day for that we make it home safe, and then we can return to our families. Our families pray for us that we return home safe to them, unharmed, right? So that's what happened with me in Georgia, man. It really touched me deeply. Meeting you and meeting just so many people had great stories. Elijah, I'm trying to get him on when he did his testimony. That was, man, that I tell you what, like, I posted with his permission. I didn't want to post something that was so deep for him. The testimony that he gave that night was jaw dropping, right? Like, everybody felt it, and I posted it, and it's got over on Instagram and on TikTok, dude. It has over 100,000 views.
Now, man, just think about
It's insane.
100,000 views, and all it takes is that one. Just getting that one more to Christ, man. I'll never forget that night with Elijah, dude. There was probably 40 or 50 of us gathered around the cross right there on the drill field. We were nasty, sweaty, dirty, bleeding. Some of us were bleeding. I think that's the day I slammed my finger or something, so I know I had a busted finger somehow. And of course, I bust my finger anytime I pick up a Halligan bar, so it's nothing new, man.
I think it's the same day I smashed my face when I was going through the window.
Man, so yeah, you definitely scorpion that VES prop, but I'll never forget, man, listening to him, and the moment, he talked about this bright shining light that was standing in his corner, and then he looked down, and he wasn't hurt anymore, no cuts, no bruises, no nothing. He was just adorned in white. And when we left Bearers of the Oath, I got challenged by Kevin Pfluger to listen to an audiobook, Our God in Heaven. I believe that's what it's called, but it talks about near-death experiences or NDEs. And that really was a challenge for me to start focusing back on God, man. But to listen to all those stories and listen to Elijah, and now doing the Bible Recap Daily Challenge that I got challenged by Bentley to do, and focusing on that, man, like, it's so crazy that our God has been the God for years. I mean, ever since, we could go back as far as the earth being created, but he always makes his presence known. But if you listen to everybody's stories, it's always some kind of love and some kind of light that's indescribable. Yeah. And to Elijah's story that night, man, you couldn't help but tear up and go, God, man, like, this kid was less than 12 hours away, and you made your presence known. Like, and then find out this dude is like super dyslexic, and he's not a good writer. And when you listen to him talk, I mean, he sounded like any normal, non-dyslexic, non-struggling, young kid. He sounded like he was not an introvert or whatever. When you find the backstory out, I mean, he is a lovable guy, but he is very dyslexic. Like, definitely was the hand of God in helping him write that.
Yeah, brother. Yeah. I was blown away by him. And I took to Elijah because he was always smiling. He just always had a huge
not smiling,
smile on his face, right? Yeah. He came up to me. He's like, "Are you Mike Goldstein?" I said, "Yeah." "Dude, you're the man from the C.A.N report." I said, "Yeah." And he just lit right up. I was like, "Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you." "Oh, man, I've never met anybody famous before." I'm like, "Dude, I'm not famous. I just do this thing in front of a phone or a camera at home." He's like, "No, man, because I can see you online, so you're that kind of person." I'm like, "Well, thank you, man, but I'm just happy to be here, your presence, and see what you got going on." And they were hard charges all week. I mean, those guys killed it. They were so young, but they were so aggressive.
That's Live Oak. That's Live Oak Fire Department right there, dude. I got a special tie with them because there's a guy named Michael Wataki, and then he didn't make Bears of the Oath.
I've seen him on the
Yeah, Lataki's really close to my heart. That was actually when I made lieutenant for Porter Fire
I have to
Department.
get him on.
Yeah, you have to get him on, man. Don't. He may say all the bad things about me, I love this kid, man, and he's not even a kid anymore. He's a full-grown adult in the fire. So I have a bad habit about calling young men in the fire service who are real young and kids. And it's nothing disrespectful. They're
Dude,
they're just babies, I'm still an amateur. I don't care how many years
yeah.
I get in. I got so much I can learn, man. There's probably a 10-year guy out there that's got way more experience and knowledge than I'll ever be able to fathom. But Lataki was when I got made in Porter in 2020 to lieutenant. I was 3 months in as an officer, and he was my first rookie. I got him from a .com Fire Academy, and his first tour when he was going to leave, I didn't find this out until like 2 or 3 tours later. My driver called me, James Netadog, Guam. Guam was out there with us at Bears of the Oath. You remember Guam?
I like that guy.
And everybody loves Guam, man. He's just such an energetic. He's such a good guy, man. He'd do anything for you. But he told Guam that he was going to quit. He wasn't coming back. And he said, man, just come back. It's going to get easier. It's going to get easier. And then about 10 or 11 months into his career, man, Lataki was phenomenal, but he was following his fiance, Randy, up near the Live Oak area. She's going to do a bakery and stuff. And he was supporting her, man. And I couldn't do nothing, but that's actually how I got introduced to Kevin Pfluger. It's because I wrote Lataki like a page, maybe a page and a half or something, recommendation letter. And Pfluger called me on that. We had like an hour conversation on that cat, man. And he's just phenomenal to this day. Yeah, you got to get Lataki on. He's such a knowledgeable, hard charging fireman. But one of my favorite pictures, I'll have to send it to you in a text message. It's him sitting in a front yard somewhere. We're stretching dry lines, and Guam's got his headset off, and he looks like a football coach looking at the quarterback, like, "What are you doing?" So it was just a good moment. But yeah, no,
Fantastic.
them
Yeah,
Live Oak
definitely
guys,
have to
dude,
hook up with
they're
them.
freaking solid, man. I love them guys, man. To be able to work with them,
They really are.
Yeah.
I think that's like my third conference I've seen them operate at, and they're always just bringing it. I mean, just hard chargers, knowledgeable, solid work. They're never tired on the drill yard. I love to see it. So it was a pleasure to work with them. It was a pleasure to work with everybody. The Bears of the Oath. Again, that was my first time, and it was so hospitable. It was so great to meet all these people that I look up to, and they don't treat you anything less. Everyone's got smiles on their faces. Everybody wants everyone to learn. And like you said, like, I'm 46. I've been in the service for 13 years, but man, I'm just a student there. And I learned so much. I just stand there and learn and keep my mouth shut, usually my ears open, and just watch everything that's going on around me. And I love picking up all that information and seeing all the young people, and then meeting you. That was an experience because we had talked online. We had, through mutual friends, we've communicated, and we never really got to meet in person. And then, man, you're like larger than life in person, my friend. If no one's ever met Joe, like he will tell you how it is. He's no holds barred. He's the mouth from the South, but in the most respectful way. But you have the skills to back it up, though. There's some people that love to talk. They love to interject, and they want everyone to know that they're their smartest guy or the most seasoned dude on the drill yard. And then when it comes to do work, they kind of suck. But you weren't like that. Like you knew your stuff, but you're also there to help people. Like you didn't just like go, yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you how to do it and then walk away. Or when it came to actually do some real work, you weren't just leaving us behind. Like you were making sure that everybody was accounted for. You're making sure that everybody's that's safe. And if they're struggling on a skill, you'd show the skill, and then you'd let them do the work. You wouldn't take a tool away from their hand. And no one really did that anyways, but you back everything up with your experience and your knowledge. And I really appreciate watching you. And like you and I, we worked together, like that big evolution of, pushing in, and, you're like, we're going to be on the hose. Cool. I'm like, hey, let's split the load. You're like, yeah, let's do that. It's going to work out tit. And then we fucking did it. And it was great. And we nailed that evolution, and it was fun as hell, man. And it was like, that was my highlight of my week was moving hose with you. You're like, yeah, I'm going to go on. I'm going to put the fire out. You guys do your search. And we all orchestrated it so well. You, me, Guam, Rondu. I can't remember who else was on our team.
That's it. We just had a 4-man team.
But
I think Ron Givens.
Great, though.
Ron Givens was our quote unquote instructor that go round. No, it wasn't. Yeah. It was him or Bentley. One of the two. Because when we told one of them, no, it was definitely Bentley. Because Bentley did the Maverick cry when we made the push up the stairwell.
But I mean, it was great though. Like we had never worked together in our lives.
Mm.
But when it came to do that evolution, it was like it was in sync. We all just knew what to do because we trusted in each other. We had worked with each other for that week. I'm just doing simple drills, and then when it came to do the real stuff, like we nailed it. And it's not easy to work with complete strangers because you don't know how well they work with each other. Or, you know, you don't know their little cues or how they're gonna talk on the radio or whatever. And again, it was a pleasure to be able to move inside a live fire training and know that I can leave you in the fire room and you're going to knock the piss out of that fire. And then me and Rondu are going to search the crap out of it. And we're going to go up all levels and search for victims and meet somewhere in the middle. And we did that. And we did it like in a really good time too.
Yeah, that was,
and it was,
man, what an experience. Because even, well, we were the engine company, the truck company. And man, I don't remember where they're from. They've added me on Facebook. God forgive me, I can't remember their names. I'm so bad with names, man. I got to do better with this. But it was the other Johnson. There was another guy named Johnson there. It was him and the female firefighter, and then the other two. I think they were all from the same department. And I
I
remember,
know
I
you're
remember
talking
we were
about.
sitting over there by the tractor, and we were kind of pre-planning it and whatever. And I was like, "Who's forcing the door?" And that female firefighter, she's like, "I'm doing it." I was like, "I got faith in you. Let's get this done." I said, "But if you need help, just look back at me. I got you." And man, let me tell you something. I've seen a lot of people struggle with forcible entry, and I love forcible entry, man. If you know me very well, I love forcible entry. I love soft entry. We'll talk about that later, but dude, I think she had that door smoked before I finished my flake, before I was even calling for water. And we did a freaking split load on that. I mean, I'll never forget that drill because I was like, it's either you or me, or like, hey, let's split load this. Let's just throw everybody for a loop and let's do real life. Let's split. I'm gonna go straight to the door.
Yeah, that was our
Yeah,
evolution. We were pushing
and you were
in.
like, I'm so for it, man. And it went like perfect, dude. And I remember calling for water, and then I hear her screaming, "Fire department, call out!" And I look over, and dude, she's already got that door smoked open. And I'm like, hell yeah. Dude, I would love to come behind that crew any day, especially with her on the irons. She made that door her little baby, man. I mean, she smoked it, dude. And then I mean,
She did great.
I'm telling you, dude, I hit that. We went up the stairs and I turned left, dropped to my knee and started flowing and going just to get a rep in, man. There's no need to flow and go, but I just wanted to do it. And I think Ron Givens was our instructor. Bentley wanted to. They ducked off in the other room because I was coming like a freight train, man. But I never once had a call for slack, man. You men had the freaking hose line in there like it was nothing. Like, man, we got to fight a fire one day for real. All 8 of us. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, man. That would be amazing. That would be kick ass. It was just cool. Like even so when we did the truck work, you know, it was same thing, man. When you forced that door, it was like made of butter. You opened up in seconds, and you know you right up to the roof to cut a hole in the roof, and then me and Brian bringing the ladder up to VIS, and it was quick. It was smooth. It was like a symphony. Everybody had their roles, and it shows that the instructors, they did their part. They entrusted us. We trusted them to give us the knowledge. And I mean, just like the whole week was really awesome. The dadgum push, I love doing that.
Oh yeah,
with Kevin Pfluger and Tom Hollick and the Kano brothers. Like that's one of my favorite things to do. I love hose work. I never did before, and all of a sudden I just really took to it. And getting the reps in with what they bring to the table with the Minuteman load, showing, you know, like it's not just dropping the shoulder bundle. There's so much more to it, and being able to do that for like 2 days in a row of moving and flowing, and then, you know, we got live fire in for that too, like for the hose push,
we
like
burned all week
going
long.
up in using the head nozzle on that. That was great.
Yeah, dude. It was and
doing ladder work.
Oh, dude, ladder work. I love throwing ladders, man. If I'm driving, I want to be on the truck company. I love driving the ladder truck. But I think after the last few years, man, I've figured out I'm an engine guy through and through. There ain't nothing like hose work. And I man, everybody picks on me because I said something during one of the drills where, you know, the truck guys are the angels and we're the ground troops or something. I put some, and really all it was just some of Joe Johnson's nomenclature rhetorical nonsense, just stuff that flows out of my wife's probably agreeing with me when she walks by right now. She's like, yeah. But I don't remember, somebody said it made perfect sense. I think Chief Stern was talking to me later on about it. Like somebody wished they would have recorded it because I mean, in reality, dude, it's true, man. I mean, just being able to make that push inside, and there's always the squabbling back and forth online of who's better, truck or engine, this or that, blah blah blah. It's like we both have jobs to do, man. If you're a truck guy and you're walking past hose line that's moving in, and you don't bend over to pick up some hose and chuck 10 foot in, well, you're a trash fireman. But it's no different than if you're an engine guy that's third due and you hear them calling for ladders and you got a free arm and you're not shucking up a ladder to at least throw down there as an extra ladder, find a window that needs it. And you're a trash guy too, man. I mean, we all have jobs to do, but that that whole week of how Shane and Kevin and all the dead gum and all the bears of the other guys put everything into terms, I think it really made things really unite. Like, you are super dependent on one another. The engine company's not making the push until the truck company gets the doors open. We can't really make a good heavy push with superheated and zero visibility conditions until that truck company gets the roof open. Like, they really let everybody, do a good job of training on both sides. And again, man, there's nothing like good old engine company work. I know I'm going to get a lot of hate on that, and I'm okay with that, man. But it's all fun, man. At the end of the day, it's all God's work, like we said all week long.
My biggest takeaway for the drill yard side of it was when RJ stopped the show from Capital City Training, and because I saw the same thing, and I think you probably saw the same thing, and I'm like, it doesn't seem like we should be doing that. And people were throwing the victims out of the window, the baby victims out of the window, just dolls for everybody who's listening or watching, and
non-viable dolls.
I wouldn't want anybody to think. No. I didn't want anybody to think they were actually like throwing the dolls out of the window. And I remember seeing it fly out the window, go, man, that's not how we should be training. And then all of a sudden, within like the 20 minutes, RJ just called everyone over, stopped everyone, and he laid into us, but for a good reason. Yeah. Like, we are not training anybody to throw victims out of the window, especially a child victim. And for him to stop the show and for him to tell everybody, you do it again, you're out. Like, this is not how we operate. This is not how we train. And that was my takeaway for that. It's like, man, these guys really do give a shit about how we're training. It's not just getting the reps in, but making sure that we're doing it appropriate. So then when the day actually comes and you find a victim, you're not automatically trained to throw somebody out of a window when nobody's there to either receive that victim. But you should be sticking your head out the window and making sure you got somebody there that's at the ladder to bring them down. And he made that point. Yeah, I don't care if you're in rehab and you're getting water. If somebody's out that window with a victim in their hand, get up that freaking ladder and grab that victim. And that was it just made me have so much more respect for what the training is. Yeah, like, hey, we're training for real world stuff. Absolutely. And that was major. I really enjoyed that.
Man, we did, me and a few other Porter guys, we went to the OG Dead Gunfire Conference. I think it was 2022, 2023. I don't remember, but I know it was out in San Antonio area. First time we actually went with Castillo that time. Me, Drew Elmendorf, Castillo, and a guy named John Powell, who was my fireman at the time. And I'll never forget it. And that conference right there completely changed my outlook on things, because I was the guy that grew up in the fire academy on all fours. You're crawling around on your hands and knees. You drag victims out the way you came in. Just nomenclature crap that comes from the books, right? And the fire academy did what it did. It got me a certification, and I've had to hard charge myself to where I'm at now with a lot of mentors. It's not just me. I've had a lot of great mentors in my life along my career path. And but when I left that conference, I went straight to my fire chief at the fire academy that I teach at, and I said, hey, we got to quit this. We got to quit this hands on the knee stuff. We've got to quit this dragging victims where they came from. Like, and he's a great guy, man. 40 something years on the job. He worked out in Texas City, late 70s, early 80s. So he grew up. He knew what it was like, right? True smoke eaters, tailboarders. And for him to actually be open for it was pretty honorable and shocking at the same time. Like, okay, we have an opportunity to change things. And so he met us in the middle. He's like, all right, if you're going to teach these kids to be able to crawl out of windows with victims and other doors and stuff, then you need to make sure they know what side of their building they're on. They on the Alpha, they on the Delta, where are they at? They on the first, they on the second division? I was like, man, that's a great point. And sure enough, man, it's worked out great. So now we got kids they've got a victim and they're like, hey man, we just passed that window on the Bravo side. It's like 10 foot behind us. Let's go. And I'm thinking, man, if this is what we're producing right now, after, you know, a good year or two developing the guidelines of how we're teaching, we could change the face of how fire academies are done. Because I don't care what anybody thinks. I think .com fire academies are, in reality, it's a joke. You spend 12 days or 12 weekends going over skills. Like, what are you getting out of that? Like, I have not, at least for my personal opinion, I have not seen a .com fireman that didn't struggle day one on the ground. And I'm talking basic skills, man. I don't think this profession, I get some people can't do it. They have to do a .com. But that's why we actually adopted the 701 program where I work at Porter. It's a 2-week, just, excuse me, Lord, for talking like this, but balls to the wall, 9 days of just skills. Like they're in the Texas heats, and coming up in May, we have class 008 in May. And if anybody knows anything about Texas, it's going to be 90 plus degrees every day. But somehow every year, one of the students sells their soul to the devil, like Robert Johnson did, to be able to play the guitar way back in the 20s and 30s. And on our burn day, we always wake up and it's like 60 degrees outside in the morning. So it's like perfect weather to burn. So somebody's selling their soul to the devil. So it's not near as hot. But no, man, it's to watch RJ, you know, take control of that. And that's not how we're doing things, man. When I was at Gum, I'll never forget, man, I was freaking searching with Drew Elmendorf, and he's a hard charging freaking jam up fireman, dude. I love this young man. He's turned into such a formidable informal leader at Porter Fire Department as a senior fireman on the truck company. But we find a victim. I go to drag it out, and he like smacks me in the back of the head. He goes, "Hey, what are you doing, LT? There's a freaking window right here." Well, what I was doing, I was going back to Joe Johnson's Fire Academy training. Well, I remember the door I came out of, and there's a window 2 foot in front of me. You know, so it's on us, man. It's on us to change the ways, and I'm so glad that the Bears of the Oath, man, and dadgum and those conferences are actually doing the right thing. Because when you look at the statistics, dude, we're not pulling the victims out like we did in the 80s or 90s. Like we're VESing, you know, we're finding victims searching in front of the hose lines. You know, we had a live burn for our shift last week, and I told my crew, so we're going to throw a curveball. They're going to give me a 4-man crew. They're going to let me play with it. I'm going to go a 4-man crew. I'm going to take a hose line to the first division, and you two boys take a water can and go to the second division. Go to rescue mode. We know there's victims in there. Let's play it like that. Let's see what happens. And you know, how many times are we pulling water cans on training fires? Like, screw it. Let's do it. Let's see what happens, man. My senior fireman came.
And
go ahead.
I was going to say, it's funny that you say about the water can. And one of the arguments I make is that we're trying to institute that in my department now. One of our lieutenants, he's really trying to make a big push for it, which I respect, and I hope it happens. But we bring the can in when we do our fire alarm activations. Every fire alarm activation, you know, we're bringing our hand tools in, and we bring the can in because we never know if we're going to need it. But when it comes to the fire call, when it comes to actual fire or smoke in the building, that crew usually is not bringing the cannon with them. Mm-hmm. So it's always like, why are we not we bring it in for a fire alarm activation, but we don't bring it in for the actual fire. So why it doesn't compute. So we're actually trying to change that. And it is kind of a newer way of thinking. And I love the idea that everyone's talking about it. I love that it's something that we should institute. It's water. It's portable water. I mean, it's something that is going to protect us and protect victims, and it's gaining more traction now. And I love hearing people talk about it.
I remember who taught that section at Bears of the Oath. Again, I'm bad with names, guys. It's not that I don't remember who you are. I remember who you are. I don't remember.
They're the boys from they're from Florida.
Florida boys. I don't remember their names.
They were I think it was a 575 Fools. I can't remember their name though.
But I want y'all to be proud, man. James Netadell Guam, when he got back to Porter, I think he's deadgum now, went to almost every station we have, which is only 3. We only have 3 stations, staff 4 heavy apparatus a day, and then 1 2-man booster, and then a blocker apparatus. I think every water can now has been retrofitted to meet what we learned at Bears of the Oath. And it's great, man. And I was talking to my senior when he came down from that training burn. He's like, man, that golf ball was freaking phenomenal because I couldn't see. And I was like, good. Like, that's what I want to hear. And I was like, how much fire did you put out? Yeah, it was a freaking hay rack fire, but how much fire did you put out? He goes, no, they had it stoked great. And I put the whole thing out. And I was like, and you still have a half a can left. Like, I think that's probably one of the most underrated, advantageous tools that we have on our truck. Like, cause and I get a lot of flack for this. I get just as much flack as I do where people hit me up like, hey man, can you send me your seat assignments? What are seat assignments? And I'm like, yeah, I'll send them to you, man. You can interchange them. You do whatever you want with them, man. I don't care. You don't have to give me credit. It's just something I came up with years ago as a chauffeur on the truck company. And so my seat assignment, if I'm running a 4-man crew, which hopefully most of the time I do get to run a 4-man crew, is my pipeman stays at the truck on fire alarm calls. And he stands by the fire hose or by the crosslay bed, and he's ready to deploy. Now, if I got like a brand new fireman and the day's just right, and I don't think the homeowner is going to freak out too much, I'll go ahead and have them deploy it, man. Hey, stretch, you know what I mean? But if not, man, they're going to stand at that crosslay, which we run, 2 3/4 and then 1 2.5. And my senior comes off with the hook and a water can. I come off with the lawless axe and the Halligan now. And so I've always had the water can. I learned a few years back what the advantages are. I just have yet to have the true opportunity to smoke a fire with the can, man. Pull the pin, call it 7-1, but it'll happen one day. It's kind of like you were talking about victims, man. I read on Facebook a few months back, and I've turned into a huge believer in it. I think it was last year, early semester, because I started teaching at the college, because I believe it, man. It's not if we get a grab, it's when. Like, we're going to get a grab. We're pulling so many people out of fires these days, and I don't have the raw numbers sitting here in front of me, man, but it's not uncommon I know today, like I've really tried to social distance myself from social media for a while to focus on my family. That was something I got from Bears of the Oath, where I was putting Bears of the Oath in my walk with Christ again, where I was putting my soul into what I was putting my bets on in life. And it wasn't my family, man. My family was like 4th or 5th due in my life. And it's really embarrassing to say that, but it's honest, just to be humble myself to this community is. But I've tried to distance myself, but I'll log in like once a day or something just to see if I had any notifications, because I got a couple of side businesses going. And first thing I seen today, man, I don't remember where it was, what state, man, but they got a grab. Like, there it is. Like, boom, right there. Somebody got a grab, like searching in front of the hose line. Like, that's what we do. And the water can will change the world. And actually, tomorrow, this tour, we were supposed to go over it, but my driver's off, but I don't know if we're going to do it or wait till he gets back. But we're going to revise the seat assignments. And one of the things is I'm going to add in there is rescue mode. We've been talking about it for a while. Like, what is the actions of this company when I declare rescue mode? And my senior knows grab the water can, but like, I want to make sure it's written down. Like, we have a playbook to go by. But the water can, man, it's just at 2.5 gallons of just smoke a fire out. I mean, I've seen the studies where they've smoked an entire room of contents with the water can.
Yeah. I'm going to FDIC. And unfortunately, I didn't get into Eric Wheaton's class for the live fire, but my other lieutenant is. And so he's really looking forward to take that. So he's going to bring back a lot of good information from that to actually use the can on an actual live fire training. I took Wheaton's class in Pensacola. Unfortunately, it was not with live fire, but it was relatively the same class, just didn't have the good intense heat to it. But he goes in great detail about how to put out a fire, how to use your can to your advantage. And I love that there's this big push for it, and it's nothing new. It's like VEIS. We added a name to a window-oriented search. It's nothing new. You're just entering through a window. It's the same thing using your can. It's been there forever. We kind of stopped using it, and now it's making that push back because there's now data to back it. Like, yeah, this is really beneficial to use it because if you have a victim and you need to search that room, use the can, because like you said, you're searching before the hose line, or you're the search team. Why not have a protection and bring that can in with you? If you don't need it, stage it at the door.
It's 25 pounds. I mean,
it's right. You just slide that sucker on the ground. You're good to go.
It is.
So I do like the fact that it's making a big push, right? And we now have we have the benefit of having the data now. Back in the day, it was hard to find numbers, and now it's right in the palm of our hand where we can look up the numbers, look at the data, look up the saves, and how much water, how much smoke or fire a 2.5 gallon can could actually put out, which is really great. Because again, back in the day, you didn't have that readily available. And now we do. So you bring it up to your administration. You can say, well, here's all the facts right here. You can't deny them.
Right.
So why are we doing it? So you can't hide facts, you can't hide data. If they deny it, still, it's just because they don't want it. When you're actually presenting them cold, hard facts, and it's black and white right there, it's kind of hard to say, well, no, you don't make a good case when I have all the numbers in
Well,
front of you.
the good news is
it's great
the
to have it.
NFPA says every Class A pumper has to have a water can on it. So we're good there, man. It's just,
Yeah.
it's
Just bring it in with you.
And it's something, and I've been doing it for years, and I think I learned this from, I'm hoping I'm getting it right. I'm pretty sure I am, but a guy named Chief Reinwald, Howard Reinwald. He's a very well-known name in the fire service, but I actually got to serve under his command twice, once in two different departments, once when he was a battalion chief, well, actually both times a battalion chief. And, his big thing was water cans as well, like weighing them up. And so ever since I was from under his command, I've always had a scale. And it's not for me. I know I'm a big boy. I know I'm hefty, so I don't need to get on the scale. No, I'm a big guy. But it's for that water can, man. And that's probably one of the very first few things that my firemen go through when they hit my bay floor is that water can. Now that I've got a 4-man crew, the water can falls on my senior fireman. That is his baby. He's going to be the one using it. But in his absence, that fireman, that pipeman, he's going to pull that water can out and he's going to weigh it. And, after so long, they started getting a feel for it. And I think it was a few rookies back, man. I want to say it was a guy named John Powell, who was I've always had solid firemen, man. It's not me. It's just I've got the luck of the draw where these kids come in and they're hungry, man. And they just make my job so much easier. When you're an officer, when you get somebody that comes in that's just freaking hungry and wants to learn and wants to do good, it's the easiest thing in the world to be a freaking officer at that point, because all you got to do is have them open their mouth and you can just shovel as much information as you can into them. Did you disconnect it? Can you still hear me? He's over here. My son's over here playing with his freaking earbuds, so it got a little bit quieter. But man, I'm telling you, dude, I remember one time I came in and he's over there, he flips it. He doesn't even wait. He flips it upside down, drains all the air out of it. I said, "What are you doing?" He goes, "It's light." I said, "What do you mean it's light?" And he goes, "It is light, LT." And I'm like, "I'm just asking, man. I'm just trying to understand what's going through your head." And sure enough, man, he weighs it up and it's like 2.5 pounds off. And I'm like, "Wow, you pulled it out like that?" He goes, "Yeah, I just pulled it out." And I just knew. I was like, great. That's what I'm talking about. That's that basic skill set where you start getting that discipline in you. Like you were able to grab that water can and go, "Oh, this ain't good." And boom, you're fixing it,
Yeah.
Because that's one thing.
That's great training.
Because I've been asked a lot in my career, man. I'm going to just bring it up is, people ask me all the time, what's your favorite nozzle? And I always blow people away because, man, a few years back, I grew up on fog nozzles. I grew up in the volunteer world. I mean, we had those 1980s 95, 125 Jeep Selectiflow GPM nozzles that nobody knew how to pump, and they were always either over pumped or way under pumped. And it wasn't till probably 2013, 2014 era that we got to introduce to the smoothbores. And 2015 I made, and I'm not boasting about this because I screwed up big time, but it was such a good learning curve for me to be a fire chief on the volunteer side. I was able to make the decision to bring smoothbores in. So there was a good time in my career where I was just smoothbore all the way. Like it's just smoothbore, you're not a real fireman. But man, as either it's because I'm getting older and I'm just tired of fighting about it and I just don't care anymore, or it's I've seen it work both ways. And like now, I don't care. My favorite nozzle is an open one with a well-disciplined fireman. And people always ask me, they're like, "What do you mean by a well-disciplined fireman?" I said, "A fireman that's going to be able to look at something and go, I'm going to open this nozzle. I don't know why, but I just think I need to open this nozzle, or somebody that knows how to put the line on the ground and get a charge." I mean, I see the book behind you, the book of Andy. Andy said it best, fire goes as the first line. I live that wholeheartedly. I mean, I've been on those fires. First due as an officer. I mean, we were just talking about the other day with John Powell. We pulled up on the wrong street, and the fire looked like it was in the backyard, but it wasn't. It was literally the property over, and we were able to adapt and overcome. I mean, we were already going to make a long line stretch anyways with the 2.5 inch and break it down to a 200-foot 1.75 inch. Next thing you know, we're cutting through a metal fence in the backyard, but it worked out to our favor because it was actually auto exposing into the house we pulled up in front of. So they were able to pull a cross lay straight to that house for exposure protection. But if we didn't have a game plan to audible out of our mistakes, like we'd have probably burnt not one, but 2 houses down. But it brings that adage, and I don't even know if I can say it right. Maybe you can help me. Somebody probably put a comment. It's always like, we can't, if we don't train to get it right, we train so we can't get it wrong. And
Yeah, no, you
Yeah.
nailed it.
So, man, and I'm probably wrong, and I'll take a lot of flack for this, but okay, I love flack because it makes for an interesting tabletop conversations. And then worst case scenario, if I'm losing the battle, I'll just start stirring the pot to keep it going, man. And if anybody knows me that watches this, they're gonna know what I'm talking about. I could be 100% wrong, and I'm gonna just smile and stir the pot. But I don't believe that anymore. I really don't. I don't believe that we train so we can't get it, or we however I said it. I know I said it right the first time, but I've trained a lot in my life, and if anybody knows me, I love to train. We were just talking about the other day, like if somebody asked me to go train, I'm all for it. Let's do it. I don't care. Let's go do it.
Yeah.
I'm very competitive. I'm an older, fatter man now, so I'm getting slower in my days. But just the other day, man, I'm working on another shift. A couple of boys wanted to do some forcible entry. Old man still got it. I'm still doing my skill set like you were talking about, and it makes me very proud. But I also watch these younger guys who are just, man, I see them getting faster. So I don't care that I'm getting the door prop in this time frame. That's the standard I have. If I don't meet the standard that I have, I'm mad at myself. Like, what are you doing, Joe? Like, you're better than this. But then when I watch these kids come in and shave 30 seconds off their double door, forcing an outward than an inward, I'm like, holy crap, dude, that's what I'm talking about. Like, that makes me excited, man. I don't care that I got my doors in under the certain time frame. I care that you went from this time frame and now you're 30 seconds faster. Dude, that's 30 seconds faster.
Yeah.
That victim's gonna be breathing. Like, that's where it's at. So I've
That's right. Absolutely.
adopted the new age of my saying is like, we train to get past the screw ups that are gonna happen on the fire ground. Because I used to be the world's worst. Man, my fireman make a bad deployment, I'd stop him right there. All right, reload it. This is bullcrap. What are you doing? And then I realized we did it on a fire, and I had a fireman stop. My driver went around. He's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I don't know what to go. I don't know what to do from here." And I was like, "Wait a minute." So we've been training to not get it wrong, to get it right, but he screwed up. So now I don't believe we don't stop. If you screw up, you get past that screw up. And it worked out on our live fire evolution last week. My fireman, who's still a rookie, he's got about 3-4 more months left on phase, hopefully. Man, he just botched this 2.5-inch deployment. I called for a leader line deployment, which is a 2.5 with 100 foot of 1.75 on it. And he botched it big time. I mean, he dropped a big old spaghetti bowl right there by the pump panel. This EO is like freaking out because he's already got 4 lines coming off his truck. Now my rookie and I looked at him, and I could just see it in his eyes, seen the dog in his eyes. Like, he's like, all right, man, whatever. And he just grabbed a coupling and went with it. And I was like, all right, so it's working. Like, he's gonna get past that.
I had that conversation with one of our newer guys. He's pretty green, and same thing. He's asking a bunch of questions about hose loads and how to advance. And we're at the kitchen table, and we had nothing going on. Like, you know what? We got nothing going on. Let's pull some hose. Let's do this. And I said the first thing to him, I'm not going to show you how to move with the hose line, because I need you to be able to pull the hose line off the truck first. Because if you can't pull that off the truck, then you're not going to be able to go inside a house and actually put a fire out. So let's learn that step first, and show them how it comes off the truck, and then get those basics down, and then show them how to actually deploy it off your shoulder. And my biggest thing is that, like you said, like, if you pull this out wrong, don't stop moving. Don't throw your hands up and go, oh shit, I messed it up. And you're going to be on the drill. You're going to be on the fire ground doing one of these, all messed up. And everyone's going to be looking at you going, why did you stop? So I made it very clear to them, like, don't stop moving. Like, if you screw up, first off, maybe nobody even noticed that you actually screwed it up. So keep moving. The goal is to put the fire out. So let's keep doing that. So I really wanted to put that in his brain. Like, everyone's going to screw up. And I had a good conversation with him actually later on our shift. He was just having a bad night. He's brand new, and he just felt like he was messing up. I could see it in his eyes. He was just kind of really second guessing himself. And it was like midnight. I think it was like our second run of the night after midnight. And it's like, hold on a second, let's stop. And we just talked in the bay. I'm like, dude, don't worry so much. Stop getting into your head. You're not disappointing anybody. Like, we're going to mess up. I said, I guarantee I was driving that night. So I said, I guarantee I'm going to mess up. I'll probably blow past an address, or I might forget where the street is, or something's going to happen. You might not even know that I messed up, but I'll know it. So don't worry so much about it. Like, let's get the basics first. We'll get those down, and then we can keep moving forward till they now become more advanced. And I don't know if it helped or not, but it was a really good conversation because I don't get those very often. And it was cool to see him have that learning experience, especially from the day to the night. But we got to master those basics. And the basics is just pulling the line, but not even just the hands on, right? But like getting them to understand, like, don't stop. You messed up, keep going. And you nailed it. Like, we can't just take things out of people's hands and go, you screwed this up. Let me show you how to do it. Because like you just said, you're going to be on a friggin' fire ground, and then they're going to stop and wait for you to do it. And you're going to be like, why aren't you doing anything yet? I'm so used to grabbing it out of my hand and taking it and doing it for me. So that's micromanaging in a way, right?
Absolutely.
Like, so, I mean, when you can't stand it anymore, you're going to take it out of their hand and do it for them. Or you're going to show them, you're going to tell them how to do every step. All right, I want you to get out of the truck. I want you to pull the hose line. Then I want you to do this. And I want you to do that. And if you're constantly doing that with them, then when it comes to the actual call, they're gonna freeze and go,
they're waiting on you, man.
Where's my taskmaster?
Yeah, that's why I don't believe in perfection. We work in a profession where man, and I don't know, you probably have civilian people that run across these videos. I can tell you right now, there ain't nobody in this world that's perfect when it comes to the fire service.
There's some people that make comments you think they are perfect.
You ain't lying, man. I'm a Facebook keyboard warrior. I'm a hypocrite bigger than they, but I have no problems going there and attacking these people, going, where's your video? You know, you are the cancer, and this is why you suck. This is why the fire service sucks. Because instead of like, man, and I'm getting off on a freaking tangent right here. I know I'll take a lot of flack for this, and I keep repeating that, but I love it, man. I love haters. I tie halyard. I don't care if my extension ladder, and I run an engine company, so I'm 24 foot and a 14-foot ladder. I teach my guys, if you extend that ladder, you better freaking tie the halyard. And people are like, oh, you're wasting time, this and that, blah, blah. Well, I can tie that halyard in 1.2 seconds. That's my average time to tie a clove hitch in that halyard. And people freaking like, no, you can't. Yeah, I can. I got the video. I got called out not too long ago. I put the video on Facebook. It's called the 3-second clove hitch. It's I think it's Mike. He's from Chicago Fire Department. He came down and we did a truck company ops class years ago, and he taught us how to tie this clove hitch. And I was that arrogant kid that said, why do I need to tie it? You know, dogs aren't going to come unlocked. They hold 1,000 pounds apiece. They're not going to break. Blah. I was spitting off all these facts. You know what he told me? He goes, what are you going to do that one fire where it's smoky up there and you're having a windy day and wafts of smoke are coming by and somebody's hanging out that window and they grab that ladder and they undog it. And the ladder comes crashing down. I said, show me that knot again.
Good point.
And I've taught it ever since then, man. And it's become a staple in our fire academy that we teach. And I never forget, man, this kid, he probably wasn't 6 months into the job. And I don't even know if he was a volunteer or if he was a paid fireman. And either way, it don't matter. This kid had the cojones to take a video of himself or somebody recorded of it and put it out there on the World Wide Web. And I started reading the comments, and man, I literally got sick to my stomach over the cowards. And that's all they are. They're nothing but freaking cowards sitting behind their computer screens at home in their mom's basement, eating the freaking Cheetos, sitting in their banana jammas and just talking crap. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You're defeating everything that this fire service is about. In the fire service, every time when you ask somebody what's the fire service about, what's the first word they pull out? Oh, the brotherhood.
They pull brotherhood.
What is a brotherhood about?
Man.
You're going to get on Facebook, you're going to attack somebody. I got a really good buddy of mine, and I've watched him and his brother. It's called the Lawless Acts. You've seen it out there at the Bears of the Oath. I brought it with me, and even that, man, like, I've never been an axe guy, never been a big axe fan. You see me out there with a wedge and a Halligan. You've seen what I can do with it. I'm not saying I'll never need a set of irons, but my senior man brings up the irons on any commercial job we have or any regular fire we have. I always have a set of irons coming up. If he's not there, my driver's running up a set of irons. But I watched them 7-8 years ago when they started developing this axe. And I always told them, I said, man, when you sell your first one, I want to be the one that I want to invest in your company. I want to buy your very first axe. I don't care what it costs. Just let me know. And that's just who I am, man. Like, I'm a big believer in the brotherhood businesses. Like, this is how we make our money, especially if it's going to make the job better. And,
and it's awesome. You said, dude, like, just, I don't mean to cut you off, but like, I literally was just doing that. So like for Hank Henline, for Hasty Straps, right? Like, I love his product and I back it 100%. And I had a great training with Dover Fire Department, and we did RIT training, and I showed them that strap, and I make no money off of it. I always make sure I tell people, like, I am making nothing off of this, but I think it's a great product that a firefighter is built to make our job easier. Like the lawless acts, like he sees something that wants to make us better. And I posted videos, and not too many people crapped on it, but there's people who go like, you're wasting too much time. Like one person asked, well, now show me how do you do it in fast rescue mode. And I turned to my wife when I saw that and go, well, who can define rescue mode? Who's the way I do something as a speed is way different than Joe Johnson does something at a speed time. And everyone's like, you just do it between the legs and grab them. You're wasting too much time, but you missed it. There's just it's another tool for the toolbox. And right. And you don't have to do it. And that's the thing. Like either if you don't like it, you can turn me off or you can not comment, but it's another tool for the toolbox. The lawless, the hasty strap, the fire maul. These are all another tools for the toolbox. If it works for one person, that's awesome. You believe in it. Joe Johnson believes in the lawless acts because it works for him. He firmly backs it because it's a firefighter that made a product for other firefighters. And it works for Joe. It works for your body mechanics. For me, the hasty strap is a game changer that it's making our job simpler and quicker to get somebody out. And it has a lot of capabilities to it. Mike Goldstein firmly backs the hasty strap because it's a firefighter that made it to help other firefighters. That's it, man. And it works,
that's all
right?
It is firemen, selling stuff to help the fire service. And I mean, and like, watching on Instagram, man, these guys hate on the lawless acts. Like, why? Don't buy it then. I think he's selling it for like $275. That's a pretty reasonable price in today's world. I don't even think you can get a brand new Pro Bar Halligan 30-inch for less than $300, man. And so, it's not a real axe if it doesn't have a wood handle. Well, apparently you didn't do the research because they went through every type of wood there was, and the only handle that held up to what the head that they had on this thing is the poly handle, like the warranty they give you with it. Joe Johnson believes in the lawless axe because I remember the very first one he brought up to the station. It looked like a metal forge factory took a dump and somebody took a grinder to this head, and that's what it looked like. But now, I mean, you seen it, you watched me vent that hole with it, like it. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm waiting on our chiefs to approve for some videos to get on Facebook. We do have a very strict social media rule on videos and stuff that show the department, and rightfully so in today's world. But I mean, I learned so much, like don't overswing the axe. People, it's particle board, this and that. Yeah, that's great, man. I've used my lawless axe on real 3/4-inch plywood. They got videos up there of them swinging the freaking lawless axe on 1x6 shiplap that's got 4 or 5 layers of shingles. I mean, they've sent it to Memphis Fire Department. I know for a fact them Memphis boys put it through the ringer, man. And it's just like, I'm so sick and tired of keyboard warriors just hating on each other. Like, for what, man? Like,
we got to stop eating each other. And we talk about that a lot, right? Eating of each other. Like, God forbid people do something to further themselves, either education wise, business wise, God forbid. And again, like the videos, and I've said it before, I'm willingly putting myself out there with the videos that I post. I'm not doing it like, again, I don't get paid for anything. I'm not making anything. But if I can help somebody else see something that maybe they haven't thought of before, and if it's that one person that gets it, dude, that's a win for me. If they gain just a little bit of knowledge, you go, yeah, I saw this guy, he moved the hose this way, or he used that hasty strap, or that lawless axe looked pretty mint. I tried it out, and you know what? I like it. It's just, if it's a one person, it's great. And if for the 999 people that see it that don't like it, then you don't have to comment. But man, we eat each other all the time, and it's the social media world. And like I said, last podcast I was on for Beyond the Shield, Paul Conway asked me, like, how do you deal with it? I go, unfortunately, you can't punch anybody in the face. And I still believe in that, is that we live in a society that it's easy to type these things out because there's no repercussions of it. Because even if they make a comment and they get a blowback from it, all they have to do is hit the power button and shut down. Mm-hmm. Or they can turn their phone off or delete whatever they want to do. It's gone.
Or they get butthurt there. Oh, he attacked me, so let me call that fire chief. Let me call this. Let me call that. Like, why? Because you got your feelings hurt? Because you got called out because you wanted to be on Facebook? And I'm a hypocrite. You want to call me out, all the people out there? I used to be that guy. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And so I can't go and find every stupid, ignorant comment that I've ever made. If I could, I would go delete them, and I would apologize to all the people I acted stupid to, because now most of my comments, I'm attacking people, but it's the people that are just eating us alive. Like, shut up and show your video. If you're going to go in there and you're going to attack somebody, shut up and show your video. Because if I run across your comment, I have no problem. I have nothing better to do in my day than sit there and play on Facebook. My wife loves to call me. She's like, all you do is troll. And I said, I love it. Because what it doesn't affect me. I'm 37 years old. I've been in this game again as an amateur for a decent amount of years now. You're not going to change who I am. One of my closest friends, we were talking one day and he says, you know why people hate you so much? And I said, I didn't know many people hated me, but why? He goes, because you talk so much crap, but then you go on the drill field and you back it up. He goes, that's why people hate you. I said,
yeah, well, that's what I said. That's what I said earlier, right?
Yeah.
Like you talk a lot, but you have the skills and the knowledge to back it up. And like when I first met you, I was like, man, this dude talks.
Yeah.
But I watched you in action. And again, when you were with all your talk and everything else, it wasn't bad. You're just a loud guy. Yeah. And some people get threatened by louder people. And because I'm not an incredibly loud person, I'm not shy, but I'm also not very boisterous. And some people get threatened by that. Some people don't know how to take it. But when you have passion for the service, you have knowledge in it. So it comes out louder for you, which is fine. But you have the experience and you have the skills to back that up. But you don't make anybody feel like crap if they don't have those skills. Or if you see something different, you didn't come up to them and go, that's a shit way to do it. If there was something better or easier, you'd go up to them and go, hey, maybe try it this way. Like when we were doing forcible entry. And we're at the forcible entry prop, and I trust in your skills and your capabilities. And you're like, hey, try it this way. And it was great because I trust in you. And you didn't say, hey, that's dumb, or why don't you know how to do this? It was a simple like, hey, try this. Try it this way. This might work a little bit better. Yep, it works. Cool. I like it. So again, another tool for my toolbox. I'll remember it. If I get hung up on something, I remember what Joe told me. I'm going to do it this way. And that's what's really important. It's I'll value people's opinions, but you have to have skill, you have to have knowledge, education to back that up. Just don't say that's crap, it's not going to work. That doesn't prove your theory. No. Or why don't you just do it the way we've always done it before? Because that doesn't work either. I am a why person. Mm-hmm. I like to know the reason why. So if you don't believe in what I'm teaching or what I'm bringing to you, just say what. You can ask the question why, or I'll ask you why. Why don't you believe in it? But just the way we rip each other apart, it's really, really difficult. And it's hard not to buy into it. It's hard not to snap back and say whatever you want to say, because you're right. You come off as attacking them. And then they don't have that trust in you anymore. And then you get in these battles online, and then Mike Goldstein looks like an asshole for battling all these people online because they don't agree with him. It's their own opinion to not agree with me. And I'm going to accept that. Some people will, some people won't. And it's hopefully becoming to a medium. So it's a tough world to be in. So but I do think
that brings up the other thing, man. It's like you see all these people online. It's like when I read it, I'm like, God, I'll never be perfect like these firemen. Like I wish one day I could meet these firemen who are just so perfect. They don't make mistakes, man. And man, I have made some of the stupidest mistakes you'll ever. I'll never forget, man. There was a fire over there in the Woodlands Fire Department. I was working for a part-time job, and it's the only door that ever kicked my butt. And it kicked my butt because I was arrogant and stupid, and I didn't just stop and step back 2 seconds and look. If I would have just stopped and what I was trying to force French doors. And man, I smoked that door. I was like, I'm in, I've got it. And now all of a sudden that one door just kept flexing and flexing. I'm like, what is going on here? And an older fireman, probably in his 50s, walked up and says, hey, you want me to get that for you? No, I got it. And he goes, okay. And he walked away. And then about 5 minutes later, and yes, I'm not exaggerating, I fought this door for that long because I was that stupid. He says, hey, watch this. And he takes his flathead axe and he pops the top of the door. And it was a barrel bolt pin that was kicking my butt for the longest. And I stopped and I said, what? There you go. Like, I'm not going to be perfect ever. Like a simple $1.99, probably $18 now, thanks to our last, well, I'm not going to go into that, but due to inflation, it's probably about $18-20 a barrel bolt pin now, but it's those stupid 2-inch pins, man. I could not understand why I thought it was jammed because of water or whatever. I never stopped to look up and actually study. And that's actually where I fell in love with actually truly understanding what I was forcing and why I was forcing it. But it also brought to my notion, it's like, and I after that day, I went back to my crew. I said, hey, I'm never going to expect perfection out of this crew. And they kind of looked at me and they're like, well, you never have. I said, no, but I'm going to demand excellence. And they said, what do you mean by that? I said, from here on out, when we hit the fire ground, we're going to move so well oiled, so fluently that everybody around us, civilians, other crews, are going to be like, God, man, them guys don't make mistakes. Like they're perfect. But when we come back to the firehouse, just like you were talking about with your fireman about missing a street or going the wrong way or whatever, it's as soon as we get back to that firehouse, hey, LT, did you get what you? Yeah, I got what I did. I know what I did wrong, man. Hey, you seen that deployment? That tree got you, didn't it? Like, that's what we preach now, man. And to me, we get so caught up in these super one-off advanced techniques that we forget about the basics. And that's what I loved about the Bears of the Oath. It was the basics of basics, man. And when I train, it's 99% of the time we are just repping out the basics. Like Big Black Man, he says it best. Raymond Dorval says it best. Like, don't ever miss an opportunity to get a rep in. Don't ever miss an opportunity to get a rep in. I was like, I love that, man. Like, why not get a freaking rep in? Like,
Why not?
What's one more rep?
And if because I was up at the Northeastern Fire Conference in Maine for the New England Fools, and I was getting ready to actually drive home, and I stopped at a gas station, and I was talking to a brother from a neighboring community by my department, and he was just kind of venting real quick about passion and not people not doing what he wants to do, like for training all the time. And I was like, well, what do you need them? It's a simple question, right? Like, if they're not buying into all the training, so do it yourself.
Yeah.
Like, we strive for perfection, but your perfection sometimes can be different than other people. Your passion is different than everybody else's. Everybody's different. And I've heard it come up a lot, and I've vented to other people and people have vented to me. And I came to the realization of people have different standards. People have different ideas of training. And if you get pissed because they're not going to be in the bay with you working out and sweating, or they're not going to be throwing ladders with you every shift, that's their God-given right to not do it unless you make it mandatory. But hopefully you don't bully them into doing it. It's got to be organic. And if you care about the job, go out and do it. And hopefully they'll follow suit. Right. So you're sitting if they're in the recliners and you're in the bay throwing ladders, doing hose advancements, working out, whatever you want to do, they're going to eventually be like, where the hell is Mike? Oh shit, he's in the bay again working out. And they're going to come and go, hey, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing this rep or I'm doing this workout. And they eventually, hopefully, will join you. But when you start like trying to make them feel guilty for not having it, they're just going to push farther away.
Man. Yeah.
You got to be able to, right? You get those reps in, and like I get the reps in whenever I can. And there's days though that I don't want to do it. There's days that I'm not feeling it, and I will be sitting in that chair. I'm just as guilty. I'll sit in that recliner until a call comes in, because there's just days that I'm just not into it. I'm just not feeling it. Either it's just whatever, I'm in my own head. But I love being in the bay when it's crappy. I'll like it just the other shift. Like I made a recording of it, just flipping the ladders, because remember we're in Georgia. It was Bears of the Oath. You saw me struggling. Like I couldn't figure out how to do it.
Talking about that fancy
the other day,
flip,
you know what? Yeah. Right.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
And like I couldn't do it because it's not something I do. It's not something we do on our department. It's not something we teach at the academy, because our ladders are coming off our trucks. They're not on the ground. So I don't need to flip it back onto my shoulder. But it's something I really wanted to learn how to do. And it was bugging me ever since Georgia. I'm like, I got to figure this thing out. I know I can do this. And I spent a good couple of hours in the bay figuring it out. And I figured it out. I'm like, man, I got it. All right, I did it. But I didn't need my guys to do it with me, because that might be a skill that they don't want to do. It's not a standard skill on my department. It's something that I'm passionate about learning. But then I can bring it back to them. I went back into the kitchen. I went, hey, I just spent an hour doing this. And I figured it out. They're like, what'd you do? And I told them all about it. Oh, that's awesome. I mean, they were happy for me, but I didn't get pissed they weren't doing it with me.
Yeah. No,
so it is team building to get people out in the bay. But at the same time, I got reps in. I'm happy because I was training and I was getting something done.
You mentioned it great, man. I'm just as guilty as anybody else, if not more guilty. There is just days, and we're probably coming up on it. It's a weekend tour. I work tomorrow and the next day. So I got Sunday, Monday, this shift, next shift, Saturday, Sunday. And, not too long ago, man, my driver was hitting me up about some size up stuff, man. And he's like, I want to practice this. So I was thinking, well, it's supposed to be a pretty easy day. You know what? let's put technology to the test. So I said, everybody go get their mask. And so except for, I usually will get involved in every training. Anybody that knows me, that I'm right there with y'all in same amount of gear, same amount of reps. It doesn't matter. I'm fat and old, fat and lazy, but I'm still going to put in the work and the effort like y'all do. But this one day I was like, you're going to ride seat, Burger, you're driving. And then of course my pipeman, I said, so, my driver, my pipeman, y'all get y'all's mask on. My senior man, you're driving. I'm going to come over here in the corner. I'm going to play dispatch. And so just found a random house on YouTube and pulled it up. Okay, size it up. What do you got? What's our attack? Hey, fireman, what are you pulling? What are we doing here? Driver, where are you spotting? And man, we did that for like a good hour and 30 minutes, but the dialogue that came out of that. So I'm okay with recliner days, man. And the guys got to just sit back and relax a little bit. And what was funny is about 20 to 30 minutes into it, every one of them kicked their legs down and they were sitting on their edge of their seat. So they were up, kind of like me just adjusting like I just did, man. They were up, and it was just, to me, it was a healthy environment, but it wasn't one where we just having to sweat. Or I think it was actually freezing cold out there because it wasn't that long ago. So we just went through like our 2-week cold snap in Texas. So we don't get many of those, but it's okay to have those days. But I think you're absolutely right, man. Being an officer, one of the things that you always hear from lead from the front, lead from the front. Like, are you the first one, out there to do something when it's time to do it, and I've had my lazy days, I've had my good days, but I get to look at my crew and go, man, they're out there leading from the front. So now I got to go set the standard, set the tone, and get out there and be with them. What are we doing? And when you're not there, that's the biggest thing to me I take as an officer is like when I'm not on shift, I'm at home with my family, we're on vacation, or I just didn't feel like going to work that day, which is never, ever. But ever since Bears of the Oath, I've been really, really easy to my wife to go, well, you want me to take that day off? I got you, babe. I'll take it off. And just putting family first. But it's like, what do they do when they're on shift, when you're not there? And so it's been so humbling. I get to come back like, hey, what'd y'all do last year? Oh, we did this and this and this. And man, dang, y'all some slave drivers over there. Like y'all working hard, man. I thought I drove y'all hard, but dang, I just kind of look at my driver like, dang, man, you worked them hard. And he goes, hey, it was them, So it's 100% the culture and the characters you build with your men. And no, you can't force them. I mean, you can mando training. Like one of the trainings is mandatory for me is one shift or one day out of each tour, we're in full gear. And about every third or fourth tour, we'll go on air. We'll do a full consumption drill. And it's nothing crazy, man. And kudos to these guys that get out there and do these hour and a half, 2 hour long full gear workouts, man. Kudos to you. You're a bad fireman in a good way. I'm not talking crap about you at all, but we don't do nothing crazy. We do fire functional workouts. And all it is, like the last tour, I had a 4-man crew. So everybody was there that day. All we did was set up both ladders. We had a 16 and a 14 and our 24 foot. And then we had a push up and squat station. And then we had a tire hit station where you had to do, 10 swings each arm. And you go through it until you suck face, man. When you stop vibing, hit your knees, count your breaths. Just let's see where we're at. And the next time we do it, can we add 30 seconds to that? Can we add 5 more breaths? Like, what can we improve on? Oh, you got 1 more breath? That's an improvement. So we had that. And all you had to do is, each partner grabbed a ladder, went all the way to the end and threw it. Now, if it was an extension ladder, you had to extend it all the way out, lock it out, and bring it all the way down. You go back and you rotate ladders. And man, it was nice. It was 20, 25 minutes of our life. So we've got work to improve on, man. It's like anybody else. Like we know where we're at now. We know what we want to improve on, but the conversation after that, man, like 30 minutes just sitting around in the base talking about, oh, we're going to do this next time. Like, oh, I learned this about our ladder. Like, do you get yourself out of your comfort zone? Like I hate throwing ladders from my left side. I hate it. Now it's funny because Kevin Pfluger and Raymond Dorville give me the hardest time about this because I'm a lefty when it comes to flowing water. Yeah, man. Amen. Up top for the lefty guys, man. And but I hate doing everything else with my left hand. But when I flow hose, that left knee's up, the hose comes over that left knee, and I'm in a modified hip grip is what I call it. And I mean, fat boy can move it. I mean, it works for me, like whatever works best for you. But we got to find ways to motivate because these kids that are coming up these days, they didn't grow up like we did, man. When I was growing up, we got a go-kart and it broke down within like the first week of us having it. And Dad hands us a little tool set and says, fix it. You want to ride a go-kart, fix it. So we had to learn how to fix things. And of course, we fixed it by tearing apart his riding lawnmower to get parts off of, but hey, we got it fixed, right? But man, I mean, I'm not going to say no names or nothing, but we just recently had a young kid that came through us, man, and he had not experienced life, and it was bad, man, just to listen to the stories coming from his crew. Like, and it's not their fault. Like, that's the other thing. I wish I could just spread the message to the fire service, the instructors of the world. Like, these kids that are coming into our fire academies, it's not their fault. It's since day one, since the day they were born, they've got that instant gratification, instant affirmation from YouTube, Facebook, whatever. I mean, think about it. I mean, my oldest son's sitting right here. He's got a cell phone, and my youngest son at 9, he has a cell phone, but they're very restricted on what they're allowed to do on it. But the tablet babies, like 6 months old tablets sitting right there. And I can't tell you how many times I go to Walmart or we're shopping at Kroger and I see a 2-year-old, 3-year-old kid that's just like this in the shopping cart. Like they're missing the world. Like, no wonder these kids can't come out and they don't know how to do anything, like scrubbing toilets, man. And so I have a standard when it comes to them. Like when we do bathroom detail, and my guys hate it because they'll try to keep me away from it. They'll go give me do something else. Cause when I get to cleaning, I'm ADHD. I'll have 9,000 things strung out. It'll eventually get done, but it's a weird way I clean. And I'm a believer in certain chemicals. Keep certain bugles away from your firehouse, so you learn those chemicals and you don't have to worry about those chiefs coming around. So, but when firemen start with me, that when it comes to 9 o'clock, I go and show them, like, here's how we're going to clean a toilet. And I've been blessed. Some of them come from the military. Some of them grew up on a farm or whatever, so they knew how to clean. But watching the kids in fire academy today, literally the classes that I'm a part of instructing right now, I know if they get with the wrong officer who has zero patience for what we call ignorance, they're not going to have a great fire department experience, man. But like, how can you set the standard? You can go out all day on that drill field and set the standard for these kids, but are you setting the standard in your firehouse? Maybe they don't know how to wash dishes, man. I can't tell you how many of these kids come out, they don't know how to cook a single meal. Spaghetti,
Yeah.
hamburger helper. Like,
It's funny you say it. Like when I first started my department, again, I was a lateral. So plus I'm almost 45 years old. Like I've been around. I've cleaned a couple of toilets in my lifetime, but it was pretty funny because the younger probees were saying, this is how I clean the toilet. This is, I do this toilet and then I do this and I do that and I do that. And it was really sweet. And it was nice for them to give me their advice, but I was like, I've cleaned a toilet before. I've cleaned a bathroom. That's not what I want to learn from you. Like, what do they like in the morning? If I'm coming in super early to clean, because I'm a probie, I should be there early and getting things ready. Like, what is it that they like to have done in the morning? I'm sure they don't care which, clockwise motion or counterclockwise motion when I'm cleaning the toilet bowl, or, if I'm, mopping from right to left or left to right. I'm sure they're caring like, is my gear laid out first,
amen.
or how do they like their coffee made? That's an important thing. Like everyone has different tastes in coffees. Those kind of things I care about. But then the newer generation, you have to. It's someone taught them how to clean a toilet, so they're going to give me that information because that was apparently relayed to them that's really important of how you're cleaning the bathroom. So those expectations, those learning things is pretty interesting. When I first started, I was like, wow, they really care about how they're cleaning their bathroom. That's the biggest thing I learned right off the bat, was they really, really are into cleaning for the morning.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that, man, because I've taken some licks over this. Is I've learned, and if people call me a micromanager, that's fine. My crew, I think, would detest that all day long. I do not micromanage them. I manage a brand new fireman. I supervise my crew, but I manage a brand new fireman. And normally when I get assigned a new fireman, I try to coerce them, convince them, bribe them, however you want to call it, to, hey, come meet with me, or I'll come meet with you before you step foot on my bay floor. That way you and I can have a grown-up adult conversation, and you know what you're getting into day one. The good news is most of my rookies for the last 5 years have met me either through the fire academy I teach at, or they got me on a day-to-day basis in the 701 program that we have. And really what it is, and in my expectations, man, I tell them, I say, you are a fireman. You're not a barista. Your job is not to come here first thing and make a cup of coffee. That is probably one of my biggest pet peeves of people. Like, you better make that freaking coffee, you stupid rookie. Like, he ain't even got his gear on the truck. You that lazy you can't go make a cup of coffee? I'll go make your cup of coffee. Just you hold on. I'll go brew your cup. So I tell them, man, the first 3 or 4 tours, they actually have a checklist that they have to follow. And it's detailed, gear off the rack. Did you, defog your mask, check your air pack, make sure to shut all the doors. Because I tell them, I'm like, I can't demand you be here by 6 a.m. Our shift changes at 7. I said, look, I can't demand you here at 6 a.m. But it would behoove you your first few tours to be here well before 7 a.m. to get into this habit. And I list out, these are the nozzles I want you to check. This is the equipment that I can't stand drivers, and that they're not engineer operators. They're not either. They're drivers. If you're a driver that sits back and you're training the rookie by letting him check everything off the truck, you need to find another job, man. Unless you're walking with him every step of the way to ensure. How in the world are you taking a 3 or 4 tour in fireman and trusting him to ensure all that crap that he just put his hands on are correct? And no, there is no hypocrisy to this. If my senior man's there, he is walking step by step with my fireman. If my senior man's not there, I'm there with him every step of the way to make sure. When I have a brand new fireman, I usually try to beat him there. If not, I'm right behind him or showing up at the same time. And it's like, go get your gear. I'm going to go make a cup of coffee because I'm old. I have to have coffee to make me run in the morning. But by the time that coffee pot's done brewing, which we have Brunn, so we have good coffee pots at Porter, I'm there with a cup of coffee in my hand by the time you've got your gear and your mask default. And then we'll go through your air pack. We'll go through your nozzles. You check every nozzle on the truck, man. That's something I learned from Chief Reinwalt and Captain Foster years and years ago. Is you pull I got my butt reamed one day. We had the old, I don't even know what the Vindicator nozzles. And he pulled that nozzle off for whatever reason one day, and there's a freaking dirt dauber nest in it, man. And he reamed me for it. And ever since then, it's like you pull every nozzle apart. You take it off the hose, you take the tips off, you function everything. Like it's part of our job, is it not? I mean, all I got to do is check a pack, a tick, and a gas meter. That's all I have to do as an officer. That's the 3 things assigned to me. But we take and I say this lovingly, we take the dumbest person in that truck and give them the most important job there is, and that's the pipe, And I got asked this not too long ago.
Did you ever listen to Mark Van Appen?
Tell you what.
Did you ever listen to Mark Van Appen?
Mm-hmm.
He gives a great presentation, and he talks literally exactly what you're saying. Is that he was on the job in California, started, person hands him a mop and says, this is your tool. This is what you need to do. And that day they get a fire, and he's running around the fire ground, not knowing what to do. He went in the building. They didn't know where he went, and they're freaking out because he's missing. And he gives a great story about all these things that he did, and he thought he was doing the right thing because nobody told him the expectation of, this is what I want from you. Like you just said, you're giving them the most important thing, the pipe, and you're not telling them how to use it, or the expectation. Like when there's a fire, you're brand new. I want you to stay by me for right now, because I can't trust you yet to be on your own. It's not a dive at them, but I haven't seen you perform yet. We haven't verified your skills. So that's why we have probation. And Mark Van Appen talks about that in great detail, and it was really, really good. It was a really good presentation, and it's just funny you bring that up. It is really, really good. And if you get a chance, he has some great information. So that story that you just said is exactly what he talked about.
And it is, man. And the only way we get well-disciplined firemen is from well-disciplined crew members feeding into that kid. And like one of the traditions I have is when we go to eat dinner, lunch, breakfast, dinner, you're going to grab a tool off the truck that you have no idea what it is. You may know what it's called, but if you don't know how to use it, you don't know what it's used for, grab it. Now, if it's a hefty tool or something that's super nasty that we don't want to bring in our kitchen, take a picture of it and show us, and we'll talk about it, man. And dude, just that alone spurs the whole conversation, So we'll pray over our meal that we're having, and then we'll talk about it. Now, we haven't done it in a while. The fireman I've got, he's actually probably fixing to have to go through it again because he was doing some EO training. He's got his EO phase test coming actually on Monday, and he's a great fireman, love and death. He just has these really dumb moments where his brain just hits loading, and it gets stuck at 99%, and he could not remember where the freaking barrel strainer was. And you could see his brain just grinding gears. He was like trying to slam it in fifth. If he could have just pushed that clutch in, he'd have found it. So we're probably gonna go back through the truck again. But it was a one-off moment. Ever since then, he was good. But it's the little things like that, man. Investing in our people. Like, I always, when I made officer, I always told myself, like, I don't want to be that guy where a fireman's too scared to come to me and say, "Hey, LT, why do we do this?" That's why, like, it never fails when a rookie calls me off duty or something. It's like, "Hey, LT," I'm like, "Hey, man, I'm Joe. I'm not getting paid right now." And it throws them off. Like, what are you talking about? No, I'm Joe.
Yeah.
I'm not getting paid right now, man. And you can call me Joe. And that came from a captain, man. I used to call him Cap all the time. He's like, "It's Brett, unless we're on a scene." I'm like, "Okay, Brett." And it throws everybody off. They call him.
I have chiefs that do the same
man.
thing.
It's like, and that
when we go out to social events, it's like, I don't call me, and they get like stop calling me chief. I'm not at work. I'm not wearing a uniform.
To me, I'm
a regular person. Just
that's
like you guys
humbleness,
are.
man. Like, what better way to show that? Like, I can lose that bugle. And like I tell my guys, like, you need to MF me real bad, and you need to talk to me like a grown man. Just do it in private, just like I would with you. If you need to pull me into my office and you need to go, "Hey, this is a Joe and such conversation," I'm okay. What you got, man? You need to cuss me up and down, cuss me up and down. I'm going to make mistakes. I'm a human being, man. That's like last tour, I was yelling at one of my guys. And after I was like, "Man, I was not." He goes, "No, I know you were just talking to me. You just talk loud." I'm like, "Okay, as long as we're on the same page, but it's like investing in these guys. And that's why I love the people that hate about seat assignments. I've seen it all over Facebook. People don't think you need them or whatever. But I can't tell you how many times it's come into play where that seat assignment is just fall back to the basics. Like, worst case scenario, this is what we're doing. I mean, and there's two quick stories I have about there. There was one time I had two jam up firemen. I've always had jam up firemen. I just guess I've gotten the luck of draw, but I had these two firemen in the back of my truck, and I was known as a car fire king. I think my rain's just going to come back because I got a car fire last tour, and then when I was working overtime, so I think I'm getting it back. But dude, we were catching car fire every single tour. And we had done fought one or two car fires this tour, and they were in the back. And the guy that was in the senior seat's like, "Hey, LT, can I pull the line on the next fire?" I was like, "Well, what? Y'all do what y'all want." Because I have a dead set rule. If you're pulling if you're pulling the hose, whatever, if it's a 3-man truck, 4-man truck, if you are deploying the line, you sit behind me. There is no ifs, ands, and buts. There's no questions about it. That way, if I get off the truck and I need an audible, and I've seen something that maybe I want you to pull 2.5, or hey, I want a blitz attack, I want to do something other than what your brain initially thought, I have the opportunity to close your door and go, "Hey, do this." And but they were like, "Hey, can we switch on the next fire?" Sure. I don't, you know what? Whatever. Let's try it. And we drop a box, man, about 2 hours later, and we get on scene, got a single wide mobile home, light, lofty BS smoke coming out of the front door, freaking medic unit parked in our way to begin with. And so I'm honking at them to get them out of the way. I go in, look around the backside, don't see nothing too prevailing. Going through the front door, it's pretty much a smoked out grease fire. Right. So I walk up there. I've got my thermal trying to see if I got any extension because there's some pretty good charring going on the cabinetry above the stove. And I turn and there was a fireman. I didn't even recognize who it was. And I'm like, this is back before I tried to stop cussing. I was like, "Hey, who the F are you? And where's my effing hose?" I just went off like, where's the hose line? And he looked at me and goes, "Hey, I'm from another department. Your hose line is in the wrong yard right now." And I was like, "What?" And I went and looked out the front door, and here comes, I call them the Three Stooges at this moment. Here they come trotting back into the right yard with the hose line. So we get back from that call, and on the way back, I just try to handle it very humbly. I said, "So, hey guys, do we have this problem anymore?" And he goes, "Nope, we're going to follow your rules." And I was like, "All right." And then, so it's, and then we dropped another fire not too long ago, man. It was, my senior got out on my side. I shut the door and I'm like, "Hey, 2.5 exposure." And then 30 seconds later, we're trying to get the truck in the driveway. And then 30 seconds later, I'm on the radio, "Hey, no, man, don't do this." And then back on the radio, "Okay, pull this one." Like, so we audibled him 3 times, but it's all about, can you get on the ground with a brand new fireman, and did you invest in him enough? Because we've had those fires, man, that drop at 7 o'clock in the morning, our shift change time, and it's their first tour. And like my ultimate goal is, can you at least get a lot? That's what I teach the guys going through New Hire Academy. The ultimate goal from this is when you get on shift your first day, can you at least get the line on the ground, get it flaked, and get it charged? Every officer here will help you every other step of the way. But can you at least get the line set up for us to make the push inside? because all you gotta do is just take a
Yeah.
deep breath and you got it, man. But it's how much we invest into these younger firemen, because I'm not gonna be fighting fire until I'm 75 years old. There's some bad motor scooters out there that are still doing it. And man, kudos to them. I want to be gone from this profession by the time I hit 55, 60 years old. So I've got less than 20 years, and I want to be gone, man.
All right.
I
That's a
want to be
good goal.
sitting on the lake, with my belly hanging out like I do during the summer anyways, but I want to be doing it, getting paid retirement money, right?
I like that's a good plan. So just real quick, I just talked. We talked about Mark Van Appen. His is called Fully Involved. I don't know if you've seen that on Facebook, but he does Fully Involved. So if you look him up, he talks about those stories. So definitely check that out. He has his
I'll
story
definitely look
really
him up, man.
resonates with what you said. I got to see him speak in person. He's a great motivational speaker as well. Everything you just preached about is exactly what he talked about. So you're in good company,
Hey,
my friend. So we didn't get to talk about it earlier, and as we wind down, I want to talk about forcible entry with
okay.
you because that's your thing.
Try to
So
put some
tell
Texas
me
swing on
about
there or
why
what?
you. I'm trying to do a little twang to it, right? That's your thing. Um, you are really into forcible entry, and why are you so passionate about that skill set?
Man, there's so many things that's happened in my life that I think culminate to forcible entry and why I love it so much. But honestly, man, the thing about forcible entry is it to me it ties back into building construction. And I mean I grew up working in a wood shop with my late grandfather who passed away in 2022 from natural causes. He lived a long life. Robert Lester, great man, love that man to death. He was a hard man, but he was a great man. But I remember working in the wood shop with him. And as I got deeper into the fire service and moved into the paid side and stuff, and I started watching these videos on Facebook and these guys struggling, I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. And it started from there, and it's probably one of the most a prolific memory that I have. It wasn't even forcible entry; it was soft entry. We got called out. I was at a part time gig. It's probably 6, 7 years ago, and almost Section 8 apartment styles, but they were just like a step above Section 8. And we get there, the lady had left the stove on, pizza in the stove, and the windows were kind of black, but the blinds weren't melted yet. So there was smoke, but there was not really significant heat yet. And man, there was a fireman just beating on this door, just trying to donkey kick it. And I've never been that guy, and I can squat a decent amount. I've got some pretty decent sized tree trunk legs because I got a pretty big sized belly. But I've never been one to try to donkey kick a door because I'm not trying to tear my knees up, man. I'm getting old, dude. I don't
Yeah.
want a career ending injury just because I just thought I was cool enough to donkey kick a door. And if you can do it, man, more power to you. That's fine. But I've also witnessed somebody kick in a mobile home door and their leg goes through the door and they pull their leg back with second-degree burns on their legs because they went through the hollow core door. And that may be the biggest reason I
Good
don't
point.
ever try to donkey kick a door. And I'd seen a video before we got this call. I'd seen a video like 2 weeks before about popping a window. And so I went over there with the Halligan and my wedge and popped the window. And boom, we're into this house. And I was like, crap, we broke the window though. And I went back and looked and I slid the window down. It was a plastic piece and you snapped right in. I was like, wow. And then you start and you're thinking about this where I really became really in love with forcible entry. It was truck company, being the truck company chauffeur on the A shift, and started to get really defined in the truck company. Our battalion chief that we worked for told the crew that we had was like, hey, we want to get this truck company off the ground. We want to start running an actual truck company. And so I started taking my job seriously, and if we weren't putting the stick in the air, I'm definitely going to try to soften the building the best I can, And so it turned into a love from that. And of course, it was competition with the guys around the station who could force inward outward the fastest. And it started. That's where it started. And Diego Hernandez, I'll give him a shout out. He actually brought the wedge to my attention, and we went back and forth on it, man. And I've fallen in love with it. A good old wedge and a Halligan, which I run a pikeless Halligan now. I cut that motor scooter off, and it's just how can you get better at getting into a door? Like what's one little step you can do to make it faster? Because it was just like when we were doing that drill, and I wish I could remember that girl's name, man. Dude, she was so phenomenal forcing that door. And are you sitting there forcing the door while a hose company waits to get in, or maybe grandma's on the other side and you can't get her through the window, but like how fast can you get into this building? And then when I was studying for captain a few years back, John Mittendorf's book, Truck Company Operations, the second edition, he made it very prevalent. A prevailing statement is we should have just as many forcible exits as we do forcible entries. And that's what really got me thinking, like, I mean, how many times do we force one door and 8 firemen freaking bail off into this one door, but nobody's forced another door? How many doors are truly locked? And I ran a fire about 3 or 4 years ago, and we were third due, and we got told to stage in the front yard, and then we got asked to go to get reassigned to the Charlie division. So as I'm walking by, there's a garage door where there's crews in that garage, and it's just a single entrance door. I didn't ask permission. I went straight to the door and I popped it open, and sure enough, there's a crew working right there, like, and it was locked. Like, what if there was been a collapse right there? Well, that door is open now. I didn't have to open it all the way, but it's popped now. We don't have to worry about it. And so I think it ties in with what late great Andy Frederick said. The fire goes as the first line. How are you even going to get that line in play if you can't even get in the building? And
Absolutely.
man, my wife, I love my wife to death, Amy Johnson. We've been married. Actually, like 10 days ago, we just celebrated being together for 5 years. We've been married for 2 years now.
All right.
Yeah, February 23rd was our 2-year anniversary, but she twirled all her life, and I love it now because when I teach forcible entry, I always tell everybody when I'm teaching, I'm like, all right, if I call you Amy, that's because you're sitting there twirling the Halligan. And I think it's probably one of the easiest things to learn, but one of the biggest things we struggle at is getting the message across of what the true advantages of each side of the tool is, whether it's the forks, the pike, the adze. To me, you got to know your tool. And you'll watch these younger firemen, especially when they're competing for time, and they'll sit there and twirl that tool, or they'll flip their bevel the wrong way. And man, there's some things in life that has just come very second nature to me. And force and entry, I believe, is a gift from God. And I'm not trying to be egotistical about that. It's just I've always found it second nature, man. And I love it. Like, yeah, I got that door open. Y'all go handle it now. And I've actually got a few videos. There was a video one time, man. It was so funny. I always told these guys, if you baseball swing this and try to beat the wedge in, you're frustrated. And sure enough, on this video, man, I'm baseball swinging this wedge because I'm frustrated because I couldn't beat a freaking Mortise lock. And then I learned that wherever the latch is, you force right below it. Don't try to force above it. Lesson learned, right? But in the same time, man, I think soft entry doesn't get the light that it deserves. We're just big, strong firemen. And I think one of the worst things we do in the American Fire Service is we don't pay honor to the oath we take, where we take the oath to save lives, right? We're doing a great job making grabs, man. And I'm not speaking for every fire.
You're talking about protecting
property. And if anybody's ever worked with me, they'll tell you straight up, like, if the fire is getting put out and we're good, my second mode is let's start salvaging right now. Like there was a fire we had in a subdivision. All the fires in the attic, man. It's 100% attic fire. So we've got a crew on the roof trying to vent it. We've got an engine company trying to make a push. I was riding truck company that day, and we're in there. We did a primary search. And after standing around for like a minute or two, I'm like, y'all go get salvage covers. Because I'm like, this roof's supposed to start caving in on us. Let's go get salvage covers. So we were able to salvage everything in the living room and everything in a few other bedrooms. And then, I mean, I'm telling you, the moment these guys get salvage covers thrown, the roof starts caving in on it. But, the homeowner's house just burnt down. But that idea of lifting up the salvage cover and there's grandma's picture right there. There's mom's ashes or whatever. Or think about this, man. We go to a fire alarm and the family's on vacation, and maybe there's just some kind of inclination that there's something going on in the house that we got to get in. Are you gonna force that door and cause $1,200, which is about the average price to reset a residential door? Or can you get in the window? I had a fireman call me one time. He locked his keys in the house and he's outside with his little son. And we get to his house and I said, man, you're gonna get really mad at me. He's like, man, I don't break my stuff. I can't afford it. I was like, no, you're gonna get really mad at me because I'm just gonna show you how it is for somebody to break into your house. And we go to the back of his house, and I take my Halligan and the wedge, and I'll teach you right now, if nobody knows, it does not work on the older style true plate glass windows. It has to be the newer style, especially double pane plastic sash. If you have a metal sash, it's a plate glass window, you're going to crack the window. It's not going to work. But on a plastic sash, double pane, inert gas, which is usually argon in there, that little lip where the window slides down, there's a little lip right here. If you fold that lip out, you can get a wedge, you can get spanners, you can get 2 haligans. You want to go on the very far corners and get it under there. You want to try to get it where you can grab the entire actual bottom of the windowsill. And it's the slightest pressure up. And I've even learned just a little bouncy bounce, almost like when you're forcing door. Like you and I talked about it. When you go to force that door, feel that rebound. And when you feel that rebound, snatch it. What's the same thing? When you feel that rebound here, just kind of pop. And it will blow that plastic piece out. But it's, in my mind, it's designed that way because I can get in the house, go do what I need to do, turn around, secure the window, and pop that plastic pops right back in there. So can we get in there? And then there was you might as well call me Joe the Tool Man, because I have a woo-woo bag. People make fun of me. I've already said his name. Diego Hernandez helped me build it, man. He's got a little tool in there that's curved around that you can do Mortise locks. But we made a call where this patient, 6-year-old patient, had one of those really thick HVAC industrial zip ties around their neck. And it was embedded into their neck, probably a good 1/4 inch. So there's 2 ways I could have got this off. The first one I couldn't get. It was the industrial zip tie. So if you ever mess with the industrial zip ties, it won't work. But on regular zip ties, if you take a good pair of channel locks, you can actually squeeze that block that's on the zip tie, and it'll make it fail, and you can feed it back through. Well, in this woo-woo bag, there was picks. So I was actually able to take a small pick, a little Craftsman pick, and pick that little locking mechanism away and start sliding it out. So that's why I carry woo. But also in the woo-woo bag, I have that door slide tool or whatever, plastic thing in a tube. I don't know what it's called. So hopefully that company comes in and tags herself, because I believe in their product. These 2 girls locked I guess the 3-year-old little girl locked herself in the house. No, there's no reason to break down doors. Man, just slid it right down there, popped it open. I think that little girl ended up getting a knot on her head because she was standing right there, and you got to put a little pressure on the door, and it popped her and hit her in the head. But like soft entry, man, like how many times could we have saved our citizens, our tax-paying citizens, the ones that believe in us the most?
Yeah.
Like we're the last hope that they have is the fire department. I still believe when you call 911, you're getting a fire truck. Most every time you call, man. I've been woken up at 2:00 in the morning to go freaking push somebody's wheelchair back in the house because it died on them. But that's our job.
That's our job.
To me, it's like always a challenge, and you'll always catch me, especially on duty, looking at locking mechanisms. Like, how can I defeat this? How can we do this? Like,
Awesome.
It's just been a passion of mine since day one, man. And no, I don't believe in. I don't carry irons now. I carry a lawless axe and a pikeless 30-inch pro bar, and a Georgia hook. That is my 3 go-to tools that I carry. But the wedge is married to. I now carry. I'm sorry. The Halligan is now married to a Modus wedge. I'll give that company name a shout out. It's a little bit more expensive than your standard aluminum wedge that you get on Amazon. I used to get 4 of them for like $80. But the little red Modus wedge, I think it's like 25 to $40, somewhere in there. Phenomenal. I have not had an issue out of it yet. It comes with what I call the pre-tune already. It takes about 5 or 6 times with the aluminum wedge. You'll start getting a curve to the aluminum wedge. But the Modus wedge actually comes with what I call the pre-tune, where it's curved. And it works great. But a wedge and a Halligan, in my opinion, will get you into almost, if not every door there is. But I'm waiting. Hopefully soon I can get a snot slinging fire where I can put the lawless axe to test, and I can just smack the deadbolt dead on with that beard and see if it'll blow the door. But
well, I tell you, I hope someone's recording when that happens, because I really want to see
it'll be
it
on my camera, man. I'm always recording, man. I try to always record.
Well, you were trying to record when we were doing our evolutions, and you forgot to hit record.
Yeah,
remember?
I did do that sometimes.
Joe, it's been an absolute pleasure, my friend. It has been a great conversation. I knew you'd be bringing your A game and talking about everything. And that's what I love about you, man, is that you got so much to give. So we are winding down. Joe Johnson from Porter, Texas, a lieutenant on the job there, student of the game.
Yeah.
He's always a student. He's always learning. You are a great motivator, my friend. And I tell you what, I'm really blessed to know you. I've said this to many guys, to Kevin, I said to Tom, and Shane and all those guys, man, and Nate, and that God has a plan.
Yes.
I never knew what his plan was. He led me to come to conferences. He led me to start meeting people, and he led me to meet you and all the other guys that I've met at Bears and Dadgum and First in Conference, and just in this new adventure that I'm in. he has a purpose, and it's to meet people like you and to get your story out. And I'm so thankful that we've become friends.
Oh,
And
absolutely, man.
I'm so excited to see you again. You do great things, Joe, and I really appreciate you, brother.
Yes, sir, man. I love you, man. I hope you keep doing the things you're doing, man. Get the word out.
Yeah, well, that's what we can all do, is right. It's just keep that word out and just preach the good word. And you really just have to flow past the haters.
That's it, man.
And just keep doing our job and keep spreading that good word. So thank you all for tuning in to the C.A.N Report. Again, if you haven't, please click subscribe. I'm on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple. If you ever have any questions, if you are struggling in life, things get you down, you can reach out to a lot of people. Again, I like to talk about Next Rung.
Amen.
Next Rung is a great source to have. Blake Stennett is doing great things. Joe knows firsthand.
I'm a customer, just so
We've
y'all
got to
know.
meet him.
I'm
Yeah.
a customer of Next
There you
Rung,
go.
and talk 2 seconds about it, man. When I say I'm a customer, I
Sure.
reached out
Yeah.
to Blake, and well, kind of. Blake reached out to me after a friend of a friend got a hold of Blake for me, and man, I'll be honest with you, I'm going to my 5th counseling session next week, and it has been a game changer in my life. I don't care if people call me coward or I'm not a man or whatever. I'll turn my man card in, because in my heart, I got the Jesus Christ card. So you can have that humanly earth card back. That's called a man card. But Next Rung is freaking phenomenal. They did their job. They vetted my counselor. She's phenomenal. Like I said, I'm not trying to boast for myself, but I was one of those, I don't need this, I don't need that. But man, what a organization Blake has set up and is running now, man. So it is a legit one. So when Michael talks about Next Run, guys, if you're watching this and you're struggling, take it from me, whether you like me or hate me or love me or just indifferent about me, I back them wholeheartedly, because I am a student, a customer of them, however you want to call it. But I am a benefactor of Next Run.
I love it. Great message, Joe. You said it all right there. So reach out to them if you're struggling. Reach out to your brothers and sisters if you're struggling. We've lost too many brothers and sisters to suicide, and we got to stop. We got to do better. So that's I like to leave it with that. And if you need information, Joe is, like you said, a customer of Next Rung. He is an open book. If you need to reach out to Joe, you can do so. If you need to get a hold of him, you don't know how, I'll do that for you. You can reach out to me and I'll get a hold of Joe so you can find out what Next Rung is all about if you need help. But thank you all again. Make sure you tune in. And if you have any questions, please reach out. I love you all. Thank you all for listening. You all take care. Mazel tov.